Reports are coming in that a shootout happened between Tigray forces and the Ethiopian National Defense Force. Where did this exchange of gunfire happen? Secondly, we are getting reports which confirm that gradually tensions are rising between Tigray fighters and the Ethiopian military in and around southern Tigray. So, what happened there? Secondly, Oromo Liberation Army fighters are being accused of having entered a neighboring regional state where local Amhara population is trying to organize itself. So, what is happening in this region? Let's start with this story, which is about Oromo Liberation Army's attacks in a neighboring regional state where local population claims to be under threat. I'm talking about Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia, a strategic regional state of Ethiopia. Benishangul Gumuz region has Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Kurmuk gold mine is also located here. It's a very strategic zone, strategic regional state close to Sudan, South Sudan. Oromo Liberation Army fighters have been trying to enter the Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia. And a few days ago, I did a video. I reported that OLA fighters carried out some attacks in Bolan. Bolan is a woreda in the Metekel zone of the Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia. Later, my report was confirmed by several other news sources too. OLA never publicly acknowledged Oromo Liberation Army. Komsa Dereba Group, Jalmaro Group never publicly admitted that its fighters entered Bolan Woreda Metekel zone, but privately I got confirmation from the people close to Oromo Liberation Army that yes, OLA fighters did enter Bolan Woreda. While Oromo Liberation Army fighters are being accused of having now their presence in Bolan, local Amhara population is claiming. Local Amhara community is trying to organize itself. They're trying to form militias, armed militias, but the Ethiopian National Defense Force is not allowing Amharas to arm and organize themselves in Bolan Woreda, because if local Amharas organize themselves here, and from there they could support Amhara Fano fighters. Metekel zone of the Benishangul Gumuz region shares border with the Amhara region of Ethiopia. ENDF is trying to stop the establishment of Amhara militias in Bolan, while OLA is expanding its presence there reportedly. Back to the main news story, viewers. Tigray fighters and the Ethiopian military soldiers were involved in a shootout. Reportedly, the shootout happened in Alamata town in southern Tigray. No casualties, but reportedly at least two people, two TPLF fighters, two Tigray soldiers were injured in the shootout reportedly. What happened? Why is there tension between the Ethiopian National Defense Force and the Tigray forces in and around southern Tigray? Firstly, if you remember, I did a video a few days ago. I informed you that there is a sort of confrontation between Tigray forces and the Ethiopian National Defense Force around Vaja. So new Tigray military units have been deployed to Vaja, while Ethiopian National Defense Force has also been deploying new units of the military in North Wollo, opposite Vaja. Then yesterday we got information from Koram. New Tigray military units have arrived in Koram. This deployment is linked to the situation in Raya in southern Tigray, where new government has been put in place. Zinabo Gebremedin is the new zonal chief. People protesting. Some want to remove Zinabo Gebremedin government. They want restoration of previous Hafto Kiros government in southern Tigray. So one reason behind the deployment of Tigray forces to southern Tigray like Alamata, Koram, Vaja is that the Tigray forces and TPLF, they want to stop uprising. They want to prevent any uprising by the people in southern Tigray. Secondly, I think the deployment is being made to outnumber ENDF. ENDF is there in both Koram and Alamata. And ideally, Tigray fighters, Tigray forces want ENDF to be out of southern Tigray. So this is one of the reasons behind the tension between the Ethiopian National Defense Force and Tigray fighters. Thirdly, some incidents happened in the last 3 to 4 days in Alamata, building up tensions between Tigray fighters and the Ethiopian National Defense Force. Firstly, 2 days ago, a Kabyle administrator was arrested by Tigray fighters in Alamata. Isfai Gibeyehu was arrested 48 hours ago. He was taken to a school which is being used by Tigray fighters in Alamata. Then we heard about an attack by Tigray fighters on a church. Isis Church in Alamata city, an Orthodox church, is now under the control of Tigray forces reportedly. Last week, Tigray forces stormed the church. The clergy was removed from the church. The prayer service, worship service has been suspended. And the church is now under the full control of the Tigray fighters. By the way, Tigray President Tadas Varade last week criticized the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. Varade said that the Orthodox Church decision to include 6 districts of southern Tigray, Koram, Ofla, Lamata, Town, etc., in North Wollo diocese is illegal. It's not right. So, and then we saw this attack on a church in Alamata city. Basically, Tigray military, TPLF, they don't want large-scale ENDF military presence in both Koram and Alamata. Secondly, they don't want any large-scale presence of Amhara people in Alamata and Koram. That is why Amhara people are finding it difficult to continue living in southern Tigray, especially in Koram and Alamata. When last year Tigray militias, Tigray government took control of southern Tigray, they took control of almost entire southern Tigray, but a few areas still under ENDF control, especially Koram and Alamata. It seems that now Tigray military is trying to expand its control of southern Tigray. it wants to push ENDF out of southern Tigray, or it wants very insignificant deployment of ENDF in southern Tigray. That is why tensions rising, and that is one of the reasons behind a shootout between Tigray military and the Ethiopian National Defense Force in Alamata this week. Thanks for watching.